I don't like being vulnerable. It's not a look that I think looks good on me. It's not something I enjoy feeling. And what's been interesting this year living in Israel is that almost every day I feel super vulnerable. Whether my Hebrew's not good enough, or I don't know what bus to take where, or streets, which you'd think would not be complicated coming from New York, but seems super complicated here in Israel to actually find the right address on days. And I just kind of live in this uncomfortableness like all the time. Except when my friends from America have come to visit, which I guess makes me really lucky because I've had 4 friends, non-Jewish friends, and let me preface non-Jewish friends, who've come to Israel. And what's amazing about when they come is that I am like all of a sudden like the most knowledgeable person about Israel. And my Hebrew is amazing because the only place we use it is on buses and restaurants, which is like, if you ask any Olim, it's like their best Hebrew, right? And so it's amazing when my friends come because I really get to act like this hero and tell them this and take them to Shakshuka, to Molshil Shom, and they're like, how do you know about this? You must be so in the know. It's like this amazing feeling, and I get to kind of forget that I really am vulnerable all the time and just feel invulnerable. Well, that changed really quickly when my friend Kevin came to visit. And my friend Kevin is one of my best friends. He's someone that saw me almost cry trying to drive my 6-shift car down a hill into Chattanooga. He's someone that saw me as a teacher, saw me through all my worst struggles, and I was really excited for him to see me in this amazing positive light here. And so he comes and we decide we're going to do what every good Jew and his non-Jewish friend do. We're going to go to Masada. We did our own personal mini birthright. But of course, if you know the story about Kevin and I driving, you know that I will never take a vehicle anywhere where there is heightened elevation, which meant we were not going to drive to the Negev, which meant getting ourselves from Tel Aviv to Masada on public transportation, which meant a bus from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem because we missed the only other bus that went from Tel Aviv to Masada, and then a bus from Jerusalem to Masada. And we had an amazing day. We had an amazing hike. And then we decided to go to the Dead Sea. Of course, you do the Masada, you do the Dead Sea. We get to the Dead Sea, we have a great day, we swim, we're salty, we feel bad, we want to go back to Tel Aviv and just shower. And we're waiting with all these other tourists, and I'm the only person who speaks even a little bit of Hebrew, and I'm also the only other person that has Move It on their phone. And so we're waiting at least an hour for the bus to drive by on these long desert roads where there really is nothing. And we're waiting, and I tell them, oh, it says it's going to be here in an hour. And they like look at me as this like amazing tour guide, right? Oh, look at this guy, like he speaks a little Hebrew, and he knows how to use Move It, and he knows when the bus is coming. And the bus doesn't come. And then we wait another hour, and finally the bus comes. We see it coming in the distance, and it drives by, and it's packed. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going. And it's almost 2 o'clock, and the sun is going to go down around 4. And I'm freaking the F out, because I know that we took V1, and I'm like still a stupid American, and so my conception of the West Bank and where we are, I'm afraid I'm going to get kidnapped, and then my friend's going to get kidnapped with me. And while I say this is sounding really funny, I was actually like incredibly scared because I realized how vulnerable I was and that I did not know how to get us back from there. And what it meant was 2 things in my mind. It meant, 1, we were going to hitchhike, which that scares me. 2, getting cramped in small spaces, I hate. I will avoid taking a bus if I see it's going to be crowded and just wait 10 minutes for the next bus to go. Or it meant going on a 4-hour journey to a place that I had never been before, called Arad, because I saw on Move It that there was a bus going towards Arad. And so what do? I tell Kevin, okay, I know how we're getting home, this isn't a problem, I just wanted us to take the quickest bus, but I know all the other bus routes. Because I didn't want to be invulnerable. And so we get on this bus to Arad, and what I realize is that there are 6 stops in Arad, and none of them say Takanat Merkazit. And so I don't even know where we're going to go. And while this may sound funny, I really was okay, it's not like we're going to Beersheba where I know there's a train station, where I know there's a bus station. I don't even know where Arad is. Is it north? Is it south? I know there's 3 deserts in this place and I can't tell the difference between any of them. And I freaked out, and so I just said, Kevin, actually I think I messed up. I don't know if there's a bus station in Arad. I don't know what we're going to do. And I actually started to cry. And if you know me, I do not cry in public. And I'm crying in front of Kevin on this bus. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do, and like I don't know what time we're gonna get home, and like this is not how I wanted like our third day in Israel to be. Like we still have 5 more days. And in my head what I'm really thinking is less about that I'm worried about ruining his time, but more he's gonna give me shit all week that I don't know this country that I've been living in for like 6 months already. And finally Kevin goes, I don't know what that says in Hebrew, but I think that might be like a big bus station. And I look out the window, and in fact, it is a large bus station. I don't know if it's a central bus station. But we get off, and then Kevin, in English, goes up to the first person he can find, who then writes directions for which buses we need to take where. And that is how we eventually get home to Tel Aviv.